Welcome back, runners. I have avoided all drama in Marathon because I've just been enjoying playing the game, and I'm sure people who like the game don't want to hear about it. But every now and then, I think it's time to make some comments, and, you know, I got to play the YouTube game too. I'll just put out some more Outpost guides, so go watch that if you don't like this. But I think this is important for the health of the game and is worthy of a discussion. There was a video posted on Twitter that exploits the final boss in the game. I'm going to explain some context behind it. I'm also going to explain why this person should be absolutely nuked and banned. And Bungie would not even lose anything of value if they left the community. How about that? Also, without saying, do not go and harass this person. I'm not even going to say their name. I'm not even going to show their Twitch. You don't even need to see what they look like. I can guarantee you they look exactly the way that they sound. Good one. Let me give a little bit of context. I'll show the clip and then I'll even give more context, okay? After you defeat the final boss in the game, there is a room that you can loot. This is the only safe place ever in this map. And you get rewarded with plentiful loot. You get a weapon that you can't get anywhere else. Get lots of gold items, prestige items, which are typically pretty rare, but there's a whole bunch of strong boxes. It's your reward for beating the final boss in the game. And there's actually more to it than that. This creator has glitched out of the map and into this area. So the players they're about to take out are very surprised that someone's in here.
Three, two, one, go. Hey there, buddies! How are you? Oh my god, we're so evil!
Listen, it's important. It's important that you don't go and watch their stream or look at anything that they post. This is the niche that they've chosen to be in. Just griefing players. If it wasn't for this video, you would have no idea who they were. Okay, so just don't even bother. You've seen everything you need to see. The other context for this, if you've somehow stumbled upon this video and you're not super familiar with Cryo, you're not super familiar with Marathon, let me explain just like how bad that is. To get to the final boss of Marathon, you have to do a bunch of other stuff. You have to find key cards in other maps and take them in Cryo and go to specific vaults and loot them for an item called a subroutine and then extract with them. And this is in the most heavy PvP map that's only available on the weekends. So for example, you got to go to the Outpost map, get a Cryo 1 key, then get a team together on the weekends, go into Cryo Archive, get into the vault, get this subroutine, and then extract with it to get this ticked off. And you have to do this for a Cryo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 before you even get the privilege of fighting the final boss in the game. I have 450 hours in the game. I've only defeated the final boss once. Now, a lot of streamers have hundreds of clears of the final boss. It just depends on your life circumstance. But some of these things are incredibly rare. So for example, out of 400 hours of the game, I've only found the Cryo Key 6 card 3 times. Which means I only had 3 attempts to get this done. Otherwise, I have to go try and find this card before I even get a chance to do the compiler. What I'm saying is, even if you play the game a lot, there's a lot of steps to go through before you even get a chance to defeat the final boss. And even then, you can't just farm it. Then you got to find DNA access cards to actually farm the final boss. And the reward for all of this is you get this ginormous loot at the end. And this team went out of bounds to camp those players. So let's talk about what Bungie's response to this should be. This is their official response from the Marathon development team. Over the weekend, a player posted a video of them taking advantage of a map issue and going out of bounds to gain access into the compiler room to ambush the team after they finished completing the encounter. First off, we will have this issue fixed before Cryo Archive becomes available again. In the past, we have not taken action against players going out of bounds, but due to this case heavily affecting other players negatively, we'll be reviewing our policies and sharing more details soon. While we don't want to punish players for bugs that they run into by accident, we will communicate more clearly the line that players should not cross when it comes to using these sorts of bugs that could be griefing others. We'll be reaching out to the affected players to grant them compensation for having their successful run interrupted by this issue. Okay. So if you didn't play Arc Raiders, I think I got like 300-400 hours in Arc Raiders. The same issue happened in Arc Raiders. In their end game map, Stella Montes, people were going out of bounds and shooting you through the walls and then taking your gear. Eventually, Embark got onto it. They gave you like it's a different story. They gave you like a 3-strike system. They're like, hey, stop doing that. You got a warning, but you also got your gear back. I got my gear back in Arc Raiders when I got destroyed by someone outside the map shooting through the wall. This, in my opinion, is no different from cheating. How is it different from cheating? It's not. Just because you didn't install a third-party software on your PC or use like, what is it called, a Cronus, you are still gaining an unfair advantage that's not available to everyone else that's outside the boundaries of what you can and cannot do in the game, aka cheating. Bungie has been lenient with out-of-bounds stuff because the Destiny population kind of saw it as like a thing you should do to farm stuff, right? And in the context of PvE, sure, people were finding glitch, like the cheese spot and glitches and out of bounds stuff to, you know, farm strike missions, right? And in that case, the harm to other players is pretty minimal. You cannot apply that same principle to an extraction shooter. This is frowned upon within the genre, and Embark has, been banning people because of it. And I don't know what other games do. I played a lot of Tarkov, but I'm not too sure. The history, though, of extraction shooters is that some of them have died from cheating. What was the one that died from cheating? The space one? The other space extraction shooter that died because too many people were cheating in it, and it's gone. And Bungie saw stuff like this and said, the Cycle Frontier, that's the one. And they were like, you know what? We better make sure we get on top of cheaters, right? This person intentionally went out of bounds, glitched out of bounds into probably the most egregious spot ever to not only ruin someone's day, someone who might have just been doing their very first compiler, got their very first compiler and got denied of that loot. Bungie needs to set the expectation that this is cheating and this is a bannable offense, and that it's no different than installing third-party software on your PC in an extraction shooter. The community for Marathon, who are actually inside the community, actually pretty good people, really positive. A lot of the hate for Marathon just comes from outside people that don't like the game anyway, so who gives a fuck? People who are actually playing it, man, you got to make sure you keep them around. And if you go lenient on this, they're going to leave. Who in their right mind is going to do compiler if you don't ban people for doing the out-of-bound glitch? Because they would just find another one. This also happened in Arc Raiders. Once they patched one way in, someone just found another way in. It's like with any kind of cheating. You're never going to eliminate it. But hopefully, you'll get rid of some of the people like, oh, we'll just give it a shot because we're not going to get banned, right? There's a bunch of people that will do that. They'll be like, you know what? I'll just give it a shot because I'm not going to ban. There are a bunch of people that are going to do it regardless. And you need to remove them from the loot pool. The out of bounds isn't the issue. It's how they affected the other team. Right, so if people, like sometimes content creators like to say, I'm only doing this to show Bungie they should patch it. And yeah, if they really wanted to do that, they could have gone out of bounds, and then what would have made an hilarious video is if they just jumped down and said, boo! And they said, don't worry guys, we're not going to kill you. Like, it's your loot, you take it, and then we'll leave together, right? That would have been a funny video. And then they could have sent it to Bungie and said, listen, you need to patch this. This is like really bad that this is available in there, right? And a lot of content creators try to use it as an excuse. Like, I'm only doing this to show that Bungie should patch it. No, it was like, yeah, they had bad intentions as well, right? The edgy attitude, the griefing them, taking their loot, this was not in the best interests of the game. Bungie needs to very clearly draw the new line with stuff like this. And I understand that it's going to be hard to monitor, but I mean, this is probably the clearest case of using an out-of-bound exploits to grief another player and to take their gear in an unfair advantage. And the functional outcome of it is no different from cheating. And that's what their policies should be looking at. Is that how is this any different from cheating? And it's not. It's not. Hypothetically, if you accidentally end up in the wall, you should instantly kill yourself or give up because you act as cheating. If you accidentally glitch out of bounds and you are out of bounds, you definitely should not try to shoot people through the out of bounds. You definitely should not explore that area through out of bounds. And you should just try to get back into bounds. I don't know anyone in this community who would get out of bounds and then be like, oh, I might as well keep exploring to see if I can exploit something. Most of you be like going, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, I'm going to lose all my gear. I better try get in bounds. Yeah. No, I agree. Guy not only exploits best in the game. I agree. I think what we're talking about now is how does Bungie implement a system that doesn't unfairly ban you if you accidentally do a thief grapple and get stuck somewhere? Okay? How does the game detect that you not doing this maliciously, right? And you actually just got out of bounds by accident because the game's clunky or whatever, and not that you were trying to get out of bounds to grief someone. Only thing I can think of is that you just have to increase your reporting system. You have to make it easier for people to report them. Because when someone's doing it maliciously, they're going to do it like every single game, every second game, right? If you get 10 reports on someone for exploiting and for going out of bounds, well then maybe you should look into that person. Like and a comment be greatly appreciated. Sure. If they're going to farm the content, let's farm the content too. See you next time. Bye-bye.